Hi. In this video on Messianic prophecies, I want to take a look at two prophecies in depth and then give you a link to a Jews for Jesus website that has 40 of what they're calling the top most helpful Messianic prophecies. So the first prophecy I want to look at here is the prophecy of Daniel's 70 weeks from Daniel chapter 9. The second prophecy I want to look at in depth is Isaiah chapter 52 verse 13 through Isaiah chapter 53, the whole chapter of chapter 53. These are two really significant prophecies. Now, the prophecy in Daniel chapter 9 gives us the exact time that the Messiah was going to come, as well as some details about what the Messiah was going to do. Isaiah chapters 52 and 53 give us a detailed look at what the Messiah was going to do. So we've got the time he's going to come in Daniel, and we've got what he's going to do in Isaiah. So these are two really key prophecies, really powerful, really significant prophecies. And so I'm excited to talk with you about those. And then so what I'm going to do is put a link in the video description to the Daniel 70 weeks prophecy. Under that will be a link just to Isaiah chapter 52 and 53 from BibleGateway.com. And then the third link will be the top 40 most helpful Messianic prophecies from Jews for Jesus. So you can hopefully look at the Daniel prophecy for the time, the Isaiah prophecy for what Christ is going to do, and then take a look at all these different 40 Messianic prophecies from Jews for Jesus. So it's a really great study, and I hope you'll dive into it. So let's just get into Daniel's 70 weeks here. I'm quoting this from a book, Dr. Norman L. Geisler's Baker Encyclopedia of Christian Apologetics. That's where I got the Daniel 70 weeks prophecy from, and I've got it posted on a blog post, so that's what my link will be to. So, okay, just starting out, it says, this excerpt from Dr. Norman L. Geisler's article, Prophecy as Proof of the Bible, from his Baker Encyclopedia of Christian Apologetics, documents a miraculous fulfillment of Bible prophecy by Jesus Christ. So, diving into the quote now, while it wasn't recognized until after the fact, one of the most precise predictions in Scripture gives the very year in which the Christ would die. Daniel was speaking of both the exile of Israel and the atonement for sin when he recorded a prayer of confession for the sins of his people, chapter 9, verses 4 through 19, and a vision in response in which the angel Gabriel gave to Daniel the following foresight, and this is from chapter 9, verses 24 through 26. 77s are decreed for your people and your holy city to finish transgression, to put an end to sin, to atone for wickedness, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. Know and understand this. From the issuing of the decree to restore and rebuild Jerusalem until the anointed one, Messiah, the ruler, comes, there will be 7 sevens and 62 sevens. After the 62 sevens, the anointed one will be cut off. The context indicates that Daniel knew he was speaking of years, since he was meditating on the number of years that God had revealed to Jeremiah that Jerusalem would lay waste, namely 70 years. God then told Daniel that it would be 7 times 70 years before the Messiah would come and be cut off, die. Artaxerxes ordered Nehemiah to restore and rebuild Jerusalem. Daniel 9:25, cross-reference Nehemiah 2, in 445 to 444 BC. From that year, rather than the earlier date when Cyrus approved only the rebuilding of the temple, Ezra 1:3, Daniel predicted that it would be 483 years to the time of Christ's death. Taking the widely accepted date of 33 for the crucifixion, see Hohner, would be 483 years exactly. 7 sevens plus 62 sevens is 69 times 7, 483. 444 plus 33 equals 477. Add 6 years to compensate for the 5 days in a solar year, not in the lunar year followed by Israel. 5 times 477 equals 2,385 days, or 6 plus years. So you have 477 plus 6 equals 483 years. This assumes Daniel's 490, 70 times 7, is not a round number, which is possible. The Bible frequently rounds its numbers. In either event, Daniel's prediction takes us to the very time of Christ. So that's powerful. That's Daniel's 70 weeks. That's giving us the time Christ would come and telling us that he would die, giving us some details there. Now we go to Isaiah 52:13 to 53:12, and here we get a incredible picture of what Christ was going to do when he did come. So jumping right in and reading this, it says, they have a little heading, he was pierced for our transgressions. And now, verse 13, behold, my servant shall act wisely. He shall be high and lifted up, and shall be exalted. As many as were astonished at you, his appearance was so marred beyond human semblance, and his form beyond that of the children of mankind. So shall he sprinkle many nations. Kings shall shut their mouths because of him. For that which has not been told them, they see, and that which they have not heard, they understand. Who has believed what has been heard from us? And to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? For he grew up before him like a young plant, and like a root out of dry ground. He had no form or majesty that we should look at him, and no beauty that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And as one from whom men hid their faces, he was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows, yet we esteemed him stricken, smitten by God, and afflicted. But he was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. Upon him was the chastisement that brought us peace, and with his wounds we are healed. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned every one to his own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed, and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. Like a lamb that is led to the slaughter, and like a sheep that before its shearers is silent, so he opened not his mouth. By oppression and judgment he was taken away. And as for his generation, who considered that he was cut off of the land of the living, stricken for the transgression of my people? And they made his grave with the wicked, and with a rich man in his death, although he had done no violence, and there was no deceit in his mouth. Yet it was the will of the Lord to crush him. He has put him to grief. When his soul makes an offering for guilt, he shall see his offspring. He shall prolong his days. The will of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. Out of the anguish of his soul he shall see and be satisfied. By his knowledge shall the righteous one, my servant, make many to be accounted righteous, and he shall bear their iniquities. Therefore I will divide him a portion with the many, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he poured out his soul to death, and was numbered with the transgressors. Yet he bore the sin of many, and makes intercession for the transgressors. Wow, what a picture of what Jesus Christ did for us. So those are the two prophecies I wanted to go in depth on. Again, the third link is to the top 40 most helpful Messianic prophecies from the Jews for Jesus website. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope it's helpful to you. Take care.